When we talk about the male loneliness crisis, the male entitlement crisis, it actually comes down to the fact that every single film that I grew up with and that most people grew up with and the movies and everything literally teaches losers who own failing bookshops that they deserve the most beautiful, famous woman in the world. Like, dating down, settle for the hobosexual, this is why. I just want to summarize how ridiculous this movie is. I just watched it with my husband on Thanksgiving. He was like, I'm surprised you haven't covered this film yet. And I'm like, you know what? This is perfect because this movie is just this stupid movie. I swear to God, is some version of this movie, Beauty and the Beast. Although this guy at least is rich, you know? Like, at least he has money. That's all he has. He's like a narcissistic man that even, cutlery and teapots walk on eggshells around him. The clock is afraid of this man. But she is supposed to date him even though he throws a table at her. And she is his hostage, literal hostage, because her crappy daddy was like, I want to go to prison. Take my daughter. I know she was like, no, take me. But he didn't stop her. Everything is this movie except rich or more likely a bum. Or this movie. Okay. If you want to be with a man that actually has money, change yourself. Shut up. I will do a deep dive on this if you want me to. But literally the takeaway is shut the fuck up to get the man. Leave your world even though you're 16 and you're marrying a grown man that you fell in love with because he was dead? Okay. To give up everything, your family, your life, all your friends, to go live with a dude you don't even know and have legs now and different respiratory system. Okay. Like, whatever. I know she wanted to be a part of this world, but when I was 16, I wanted to live on Mars. Do you think that's a good idea? So that's why we're here. That's why, women are like, wait, this sucks. This sucks. So a lot of women are like, I didn't want to date these dudes. They have to prove something to me. They have to make my life better because they seem to only make it harder. And these guys are like, let's see, I don't have anything to offer. I'm not even good looking. But I will not settle for less than the most beautiful girl. Because it's entitlement. It's an entitlement crisis. Not a loneliness crisis. It's an entitlement crisis. You have to work. I'm not saying men aren't lonely. I know why they're lonely. Patriarchy has forked you in the head just as much as me. But y'all are like unaliving us, so sorry until you actually do something about it, like work on yourself. Work on yourself instead of thinking that you should have to do nothing but maybe go to the gym and maybe buy dinner once, but 50-50, table. Sorry, you have to work on yourself and you have to see us as human beings. That's why a lot of us don't want anything to do with you. Unless you make our lives better, you're making them worse because of all that entitlement. Before I get into that movie, I want to remind you what time of year it is. It's Femme Freeze time. Pay close attention during this season for the next month where you give your watch hours to, your money to. Check this out. Go femmefreeze.org. Me and my mutuals have put this together about how to support women and femmes during a time when we tend to overgive, spend all of our money to systems that oppress us. Check out, we have all of this going on. Please go check it out. And a reminder that my Patreon account, I have lives, I have travel content. I interview some of the coolest people over there. I'm going to do watch parties soon. I've finally figured out what that's about. All kinds of stuff. If you can't afford it, just don't do the free tier so at least you can keep up with my work. Because honestly, Patreon is one of the only ways I'm able to continue to do this work because these algorithms are not reliable income. Support your favorite artists. Stop giving your money to men who hate you. Remember, this movie was written by this man who also wrote this terrible movie, that movie, you know what I mean? I love Mr. Bean and all. Maybe I'll have a Bridget Jones watch party because I've only seen clips of that film and it makes me want to barf. The message over and over and over and over again is it doesn't matter how amazing you are, you gotta date down. Date down! That's literally what it always is for us. So that's why I do these movie reviews. I missed out. I did not have a TV for most of my adult life until I was in my late 30s because I lived in my truck and I lived in places where, like, I lived in crazy situations with, I didn't even have running water a lot of the times. I didn't even have laptops and phones we could watch movies on either for a lot of that time. So I thought I didn't realize what a blessing that was, that I wasn't more indoctrinated in this crap, because I didn't see most of this stuff. So now I'm like watching some of it for the first time and I'm like, oh, this is how we got here. And I did grow up in the 80s where Revenge of the Nerds, everything is Revenge of the Nerds. Even the biggest nerds deserve a cheerleader. Right? 16 Candles. Jake just gives the nerd his girlfriend to go grape. Because, he deserves it. This movie, it's not a bad movie, but it's a terrible message. Was received by critics and was highlighted the highest grossing British film of all time. Back then, when a movie does this well, it has impact. All the time people are like, God, get over it. It's just a movie. If you don't think that these movies, this is why I do this work. Because when you realize that since you were a child, that everything you've been consuming in the media, not everything, but most of it, plus what teachers and society and parents and family and like people all over are telling you, like, yeah, just settle for a man who throws a table at you, who's a narcissist, who was punished into being a beast for a really good reason. He's a prick, or that you're supposed to just, move to another country for a man, and then get trapped because of the Hague Convention. If you don't know those words and you want to move for a man somewhere, tap that into Google, because or you will see, you're never going home. And some guy like this can get us thinking, I want to be Julie Rabbit, who is so desperate she has to beg this loser to be with her. That's what this whole story is her begging a loser to be with her. So Mose has decided to come off of his strike. He's a very French dog. He understands his rights. Anyway, so we start off with this movie with Hugh Grant in this lovely apartment in Notting Hill. Beautiful apartment, but treat like awful, just nasty stuff everywhere. So he had Hugh Grant, I forget his name. I don't really care what his name is. He has this nasty roommate friend who doesn't know how to date, thank God. Like this man should not be dating anybody, to be honest. But like he wears stuff like, he's like, I'm gonna wear this on a date. And he's like, maybe not. So then he comes out with this, maybe I should wear this on my date. How is this man getting dates? He's disgusting. And he's like, maybe not. And then he's like, how about this one? You're the most beautiful woman in the world. And he's like, okay, great, that's good. But the back of the shirt says, like, this is who we're dealing with. This guy has to take care of this guy, but this guy's kind of a loser too, because what are you doing living with this man? Like, at your big age, this apartment is nasty, and you seem to enable this man's behavior. Anyway, and he goes to work. It was just another hopeless Wednesday. So here is a hopeless, depressed man. But he gets the most famous woman in the world. Okay. This right here tells, so again, men are probably not watching this. If they are, they're learning this too, but this is teaching women. Yeah, you know, it's totally normal to find a man who has nothing and is depressed and is just like, whatever, doesn't care. And you'll give his life meaning. As if you're not going to do all kinds of other stuff. And a lot of other free labor. He's got friends. I'll give him that. He has friends. But that's about it. He seems to just, like, let's not normalize men being unhappy until they meet us. That is way too much pressure. I don't want that pressure. We're not, you know what I mean? And he goes to his little bookshop. It's a little travel bookshop that doesn't make any money. It's a bookshop just for travel stuff, which sounds like a terrible idea, to be honest. Like, so, terrible judgment, bro. He even says, his one of the guys who works for him was like, shall I go get you a cappuccino? You know, to ease the pain a bit. And he's like, maybe make it a half a cappuccino. That's all I can afford. So this man seems broke. And has his best friend roommate is a total loser who is somehow like worse than him, like way worse. And his life has changed. He's like, this is the day my life changed. This woman walks into my bookshop. I don't even know why she's there, honestly. Chat, flirt, blah, 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 whatever. And then he runs into her and spills coffee all over her. Okay, if you learn nothing else from this is about a passive man. A passive man who doesn't do anything actively. He literally reacts. Everything just falls in his lap. He accidentally runs into her like twice. She comes in his door, flirt, 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 and then he literally runs into her. What are the chances of that? But you know what? If you're a man, you deserve this moment. And also, when this moment happens, you don't really have to do anything. She'll just keep chasing you. So, yeah, coffee mistake. And he's like, do you want to come to my house and clean it up? It's right over there. And she's like, that's crazy. I just need to get my car. It's like, no, it's just right there. Now, she's a movie star being chased by the press in general, and especially the British press, which is the worst press in the world. She ends up at his place because he put her in this position to need, like, so this guy is like a hero, but he's the most passive hero ever. And he's also a terrible hero and actually puts her in danger later on, but I'll get to that in a minute. So while she's up there taking a shower, he's cleaning up this disgusting table with like Cocoa Puffs or whatever the hell that is all over the place. Like beans, pots. It's just nasty. And she comes downstairs and they chat. And then he's like, do you want some tea? Do you want a shake? No. And then she leaves. And then she comes back to get her bag and kisses him. Again, this man does nothing. He just reacts. The message here is that you got to go chase that man. If you want a man, you got to chase him. This is the kind of stuff that has literally got women out there chasing men, thinking they're the prize. She is literally the prize. A millionaire movie star has worked so hard to get here, and he is like so passive, and she even has to chase this guy. And I mean, again, he lives with a man who eats mayonnaise. He eats mayonnaise. Okay? He eats mayonnaise. I want you to notice that throughout this movie, the only reason she ends up with this guy, which is the same thing that happened in Edward Scissorhands, like every movie, most of the movies I cover, the loser gets the girl because by comparison to this nasty man or any of the other bad guys in this movie, Hugh Grant is a gem. She should be happy to have a loser because at least he's a nice guy, a passive, broke, nice guy. This guy also gets a girl, which is so insulting. Wait till you hear who it is. So they're watching TV and this nasty man with his nasty feet in their nasty apartment. Pay attention to the company that these men keep. So, he sees her face everywhere because she's famous and he really wants to hang out with his loser roommate who, look at that, who wears his, scuba gear or whatever, and smokes and ashes onto plate. That's the other thing, is Hugh Grant's character is so passive and, in the fact that, bro, what, you can't even, check your bro. You're gonna make a terrible father. You can't even hold this man accountable for being a total mess. Stand up, Hugh! This guy not only just sucks, he totally makes this man's life harder and walks all over him, wears his stuff, including his prescription goggles or whatever, literally just treats Hugh like crap and takes advantage of him, and also consistently sabotages his life. And Hugh does nothing. He just lets it. Weak man. Yet he hangs out with this guy more than anybody in the movie. No wonder you can't grow, bro. This is who you're hanging out with. Because they happen to find out in this scene. He's like, oh yeah, by the way, that American girl called you after it's been days. So he almost ruined his chance of meeting the love of his life, who he already lucked into meeting twice. So, okay, Hugh does take action finally. Finally, he does something. Finally. But she's the one who actually called him. Right? Which, of course, I know she's got more power. She has agents, whatever. He kind of can't chase her. But I'm just saying, everything is her having to do literally everything and him react. So he does go down there and play this whole thing and pretends that he, as a reporter from Horse and Hound, and this whole thing is way too long. Y'all should have edited this. This is the dumbest scene. But whatever. I swear, this is what they've got women falling in love with. Poor little boy, poor little boy. We're supposed to feel sorry for all these men. That's literally the premise of Edward Scissorhands. She feels sorry for him and her boyfriend sucks. That's how she ends up with him. I already did the deep dive on that movie. God! Ruined my Christmas experience going back and watching that movie. Anyway, finally, he does you want to hang out? And, she's basically she kind of ends up hanging out with him. He's like, yeah, I have this thing I have to go to, my sister's birthday. My friend has generally acknowledged me the worst cook in the world, but you could hide food in your hand or something, your handbag or something. She's like, okay. She's just so, and I get it. Part of the whole like thing is that she's in this famous world and detached from real people because she's with all these stars and blah, blah, blah. Like, I get that part, but I'm just saying that most men think that they're Hugh Grant and they deserve Julia Roberts. And that we're supposed to all be like, okay, I'll go 50-50. I'll pay for dinner. I'll do everything. I'll chase you. You're the prize, even though you're a loser. So anyway, he goes over to his friend's house. We also meet his sister and all the friends and whatever. Julia Roberts has a great time, blah, blah, blah. She really fits in with the normie. Now, remember, one thing that you learn later on, I think, in the film is that even though she's like a famous movie star, she was not doesn't come from a whole lot of money, it seems like. So it's like this is even though she's famous, like this is like her people. You know what I mean? She doesn't seem to have been a Nepo baby when we hear about how she gets in trouble later on. Anyway, so then they do this thing afterwards. They go for a walk. He can't climb the fence, and then she easily climbs it, which again is like, wow, she really is like better at everything than you, bro. Like, and that's fine, like on some level. I don't think there's anything wrong with women making more money than men, because a lot of times we do, and but a lot of men can't handle that. But the thing is, as long as these men, if you make more money, and like I'm a climber, and my husband's not a climber. He's like very strong and has all these other skill sets, but climbing is not his thing. Like he admires how I'm like fearless with a lot of things that he's afraid of heights, right? So that is me having to realize that like the whole gender norms is like, however, very few men can handle it when women make more money than them, are more attractive than them, are taller than them, are more skilled at them. It takes a very confident man to be able to handle a woman who is better than them at a lot of things, right? But a lot of men can handle that. But what are you doing to make her life better? I haven't seen much of him making her life better other than he just doesn't suck as much as other men. That's it. And then again, she goes in for the kiss. And this scene right here is supposed to make us feel so good. Like, wow, what a man. He's defending her. And I don't, like, this is a good moment. I like that he did feel the need to say something to them. But I want you to understand the relevance of this. Hugh hasn't done anything to show that he's just like an amazing guy. He's just this passive guy that keeps like failing forward into luck, which is what this is what like white patriarchy is all about. Like, especially the more money you have, the white men just kind of just keep failing forward, right? And the reason why he looks so good is because all these men are sitting there. They were having dinner, and all these men are being so insulting. And she was getting really uncomfortable because she doesn't usually have to be in environments listening to people talk about it because she already sees the tabloids say all this crap. And he's like, hey, she's a person, blah. And then, like, they just hit. He does not a great job here, and it's kind of pointless, and they end up laughing. And then she comes back in and is like, hey, he was with me kind of thing, and y'all blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, oh my God. So again, the only purpose of these men, like most men in rom-coms and stuff, is to make him this like mediocre loser look amazing because all these other men are so misogynistic. And he's the nice guy by comparison. This is why the bar is so low. Because as long as men think, well, at least I'm not that, at least I don't beat women, at least I, change a diaper, then I must be a good dad because my dad didn't do jack. Everything is there. Instead of comparing themselves to men who are doing way better and more involved and are just treating women so well, they're like, at least I'm not that, right? And white people do this too. That's why we had the whole bracelets. I'm a good one. I'm not like them. I didn't vote for Trump. As if that's the bare minimum, right? Now, this is the reason, this scene right here is what made me want to review this movie. She's walking, she was like, I'm rash and I'm stupid. She was, criticizing how she handled that situation when she told these guys off, and I thought it was amazing. God, why did I do that? I'm rash and I am stupid. She goes, what am I doing with you? Which could be read two different ways. Like, I'm rash and I'm stupid. Like, why am I with you, you loser? Or I'm rash and I'm stupid. What am I doing with you, this amazing person? But either way, goes, I don't know. I'm afraid. I'm afraid. I don't know why. He goes, yeah, I don't know either. And like, this is so funny because this is almost like her subconscious being like, what am I doing with you? why am I hanging out with you? Other than the fact that, like, I don't know, have anyone else to talk to, and my boyfriend that you don't know about yet suck. And the media and men at that restaurant, and I just get targeted all the time. Like, what am I doing with you? And then again, do you want to come up? Like, they're outside her hotel and he doesn't make a move. So she's like, do you want to come up? Now, I know there is a power dynamic here, but still, like, dude, she is sending you all these signals. The way she's looking at you, the way she's standing, she's leading you to and you're just like, ah! And then he goes, well, there seems to be a lot of reasons why I shouldn't. So she's like, yeah, there are a lot of reasons. Do you want to come up? Like, does she have to, like, bribe you, bro? Like, what? I understand why he's like, but I'm just telling you. This is the messaging of, like, you gotta beg a man to want to be with you, because at the end of the day, even this loser's like, no, I don't think I'll come up. The bumbling idiot loserification of men and us supposed to be wanting this is just unmatched. And she's like, give me 5 minutes. She goes up there. Then he goes up there, and then she's different when she opens. She's like, you can't come in here. My boyfriend who was in America is in the next room. He didn't know she had a boyfriend. So, immediately I sympathize with him. She's a cheater. She's a lying little slut, right? I mean, that's not what I originally thought, but that's what we're supposed to empathize with him. Like, oh my God, this was all just, her, she's a liar. And of all people, it's got to be this guy, Alec freaking Baldwin. Y'all know I have made so many videos about him and his little, what's her name? Hilaria, the white woman from Boston who's like wants to be Spanish so bad and lies about it and puts on a fake accent. Anyway, of all people, it's this dude. He's like, tell me. You want a good surprise or a nasty surprise? He's doing all this in front of the guy he thinks works there. So we already know this guy sucks. Like, good surprise. Oh, you're such a liar. She hates surprise. So we get up right away, just like the men at the restaurant and the press and just men in general. This guy sucks. And then he asks her what she's going to order from this bellman, like trash man or whatever she said he was. She's like, I haven't decided yet. Well, don't overdo it. I don't want people saying, there goes that famous actor with the big fat girlfriend. Now, not only is he just being terrible and telling her, like, don't you dare eat, bitch. I don't want you to be fat. So super fat phobic. But also, like, he's like, I'm the famous actor and you're just the big fat girlfriend. So, like, automatically we hate him. What a terrible guy. What a shame that she's with this guy. And, they play this, how can you mend a broken heart? Sorry, I don't know how to play it on that thing. But, like, poor sad Hugh Caring, the movie star's trash, and her boyfriend's food. Oh. He watches movies, her in Spain, and, tries to talk to his awful friend about there's a girl, someone who can't be mine. Now, if that line doesn't tell you how, whatever. I know we hear this all the time, but literally, the way men talk about us, it's like we're possessions, right? Like, and it's like I've taken a love heroin and now I can't ever have it again. Like, first of all, these people are not in love. They have only talked. They've hung out maybe 12 hours total together. Like, that's the other thing about this movie. You will never convince me these people are in love. They don't even know each other. They have spent so little time together and haven't had that many real conversations. Like, open Pandora's box and there's trouble inside. He goes to his buddy's house to talk about, he's just this sad, broken-hearted man. They're like, don't worry, friend. We have a solution for you. Another woman that you feel entitled to, that you don't have to do anything to win over. We will just hand you women. Her name is Tessa, and she, her hair, the hair, I admit, is like, they're already crap talking this woman before even meets her. She's bright as a button and kisses like a nymphomaniac on death row. What? His wife is like, how do you know that, huh? Like, I don't know, just allegedly. He meets her, and she's, like all women in this movie, needy and pathetic. Maybe not all of them, but his love interest. They tell me you're a naughty boy. Then he meets another woman who is a fruitarian. What is the word? She doesn't like to even eat vegetables because they've been murdered. Like, if a man is brokenhearted, why don't you tell him to go work on himself instead of setting him up endlessly with women either that are not a good match for him or women that he doesn't deserve. Like, I swear, and it's not just men who do this, but this idea that the way you get over somebody that you loved, who you didn't really even know, by the way, is to just go date someone else. Not, I don't know, wonder why that it's just another hopeless Wednesday and you live with this man who sabotages your life and sucks. And you know what I mean? You live in Phil. But then he meets this woman and she's like way out of his league too. And just like all the women she's throwing her, she's like, maybe we'll meet up again. Like, bro, and this is what I'm saying. Not only does this teach women that we're supposed to be pursuing men way below us, but that men, like, don't even need to be asking us out, you know? Like, all the women make the first move, ask him out, you know? And he's like, yeah, that'll be great. Then she kisses him. Yet again. She kisses him, asks him, basically, are you going to ask me out again, bro? And again, she's beautiful, and then she makes the first move. Ugh! And he's like, this is hard. You guys have forgotten. What you have is special. And someone you actually love. Like I do with that woman I barely know anything about that I'm in love with who's famous. He even admits, like, how does this man keep getting on dates and meeting women when he is like a loser and hasn't even dated, like, other than the American? I've only loved 2 girls. So this is like, he's kind of like a hot inchmill. Both disaster. One of them leaves me faster than you can say Indiana Jones. Apparently she cheated on him or left him for another man, whatever. And the other one casually marries my best friend, who is this woman sitting right in front of her. She goes, yeah, but she still loves you. Me. Yeah, but in a depressingly asexual way. Ugh, like, it's not the same. Who cares if a woman loves me if they don't want to fork me? And then she's like, well, I actually never fancied you. I loved you. You were terribly funny, but all those kissing on my ears, blah. She basically is like, I was like grossed out by hooking up with you. I kind of like that line, honestly. He's just like, wow, this can't be any worse. I'll find myself 30 years from now still sitting on this couch. Anyway, we cut to the movie star coming back to him because she's in a crisis. A revenge porn crisis. She comes back to him. Like, I was like, wait, what? Why is this happening? All these photos were taken years ago. But I was poor, and that happens a lot. She was a struggling actress just trying to make it. And some people took some, she had some, photos taken of her. I know it's not an excuse. To make matters worse, that somebody, basically was filming the photo shoot of her and, being spicy. And now, like, she's getting dragged in the media for being a star. She basically apologizes for, like, how she left things last. And I get it. She was in the wrong last time for not telling him that she had a boyfriend and, like, all that thing, whatever. But that's the only thing she really did wrong, okay? Let's be clear on that. But that's not how they write this. Now, granted, this was before the important conversations around revenge porn were happening and legislation around that, and we still do not have enough. This wasn't framed as her being targeted and her being exploited and this being a crime at all. It was more like, I did this thing and now they have all these photos. And Hugh here is like, listen, don't think about it. Ça va? It's cool. Don't even think about it. We'll sort it out. Who's we? What, are you a publicist, bro? Are you a bodyguard? Are you a casting agent? Like, how the hell are you going to help her sort this out? You don't know anything about this business. And then the roommate has the tabloid, and look how excited he is. Brilliant. Fantastic. Magnificent. Because this little, like, loser, this guy reminds me of Puck from reality, whatever you call that. Real World 2, San Francisco. Maybe it was 3. I hated that Puck guy. I don't know why. I don't remember. I got to go back and watch it. No, I don't. I don't want to watch him. So he goes in and takes a leak while she's in the bathtub. She's like, hi. Okay, just check and make sure that was you. And then he does this. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, because I have a way to ruin her life and my roommates and make some money. Anyway, so these two have like breakfast and stuff. She's like, I just thought about you a lot. It's just, I didn't have any time. I tried to keep up. She's explaining what all happened with that. And then she's like, and also it's just like doesn't work out when I try to date like a normie because they don't understand my life. Kind of like you, bro, who told me like, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. Like, it's been a disaster dating guys who don't understand. And I don't think she means, I think when she talks about normal people, it's not even about celebrity. It's about men who it doesn't usually work out for women who date down. Men who are not as accomplished as them. They don't have to be as famous, but they do have to be like really good at whatever it is they're doing and like not be super insecure. And that is very hard to find. Again, ask any woman who has tried to date a short man. Not all of them are like that, but it's very rare to find a short man who doesn't punish the women he dates and marries because of all of the bullying that other men have done to him. He's like, hey, so you want me to help you practice your lines? Oh my God, yeah. They practice their lines. Anyway, this is like the nicest apartment, by the way. And they're just hanging out, doing normal things. He's reading a paper. She's reading a book. His nasty feet are there. I was like, why is his feet there? His feet are in like every shot. I wonder if this guy's like Tarantino and has like a little farner. And then like this line right here is why I was like, this is not a love story. This is the dumbest story. This dialogue written by a man, clearly. Like, I mean, every time I don't like a movie right out of the gate, and especially don't like a female character, it's always written by a man. But then whenever, it doesn't mean that all bad movies are written by men, but every time I see a woman that I'm like, what is wrong with her? I don't like her for some reason. It's almost always because a man is writing her. A man who doesn't see her as a human being or understand women at all. He's like, you have big feet. Well, yes, always have. You know what they say about men with big feet? No, I don't know. What's that? Big feet, larger shoes. You seriously want me to believe that this woman who's been in the entertainment industry in Hollywood and is super successful would say such a bad joke and have nothing to talk about? Like, yeah, how are y'all in love? This is the worst dialogue. It's like, ha ha ha, it was like the worst joke, but you won't convince me that a woman like that would say that. She says smart things throughout and seems like, anyway, I hated this scene for some reason. Just bad writing. She's like, he laughs at my terrible jokes, but I don't think she would say a joke like that. Again, we got to look at these feet too much. But then she talks about how the ironic thing about all this stuff going on in the media and the revenge porn that's happening is that she is fierce when it comes to protecting herself with the immunity clauses. And he's like, what? What do you mean the closet therapy? Like, it wouldn't piss me off so much if later on what he does, like this, whatever. Yeah, she talks about like, this is a woman who's very protective of her privacy for good reason. We can all learn from a woman like this in terms of boundaries, but not dating a little hobosexual. She explains, that she only lets them show the dent of the top of her money. She's giving an example. Sounds like she just doesn't want her body exploited by the media. Very important to her. What, you mean stunt? By the way, I worked in the film industry and I actually worked with Jay-Z's hands. The person who does Jay-Z's hands, maybe there's more than one. Whatever. I've had the most random stories, but I have a photo of him like holding things and doing all kinds of stuff because I was like, oh my God, Jay-Z's hands. Anyway, I also served a platter of vegetables to Kanye and Kim at one point. And Alicia Keys was on that set and she was very kind to me, by the way. Anyway, I should talk about that more, but whatever, who cares? Focus, Melanie. Whatever, dumb conversation, blah. So then he goes upstairs. And again, you would think this was a child's home, how disgusting it is and how there's just like, this stuffed animals and crap everywhere. He's like, this is in underwear, like this stuff everywhere. It's nasty. So he's putting her to bed and she's like, today's been a good day, which is, in this circumstances is unexpected. Thank you. He's like, okay, cool. And again, this is his roommate's door, which I know they're being funny, but like, I was so confused by that. I was like, wait, is there a child living there? Oh, right, his roommate, whatever. The infantilization of awful men is like peak here. He's just a silly, stupid, like, no, this man causes harm. But anyway, he's like, yeah. I mean, she is sending the signals like, maybe you want to come in here, but she's not, but not really. But also just kind of waiting for, and he was just like, I guess off to the sofa bed I go. Which on some level I respect. He doesn't, she's been traumatized by the media with, revenge porn. But she's looking at him like this. Hey. And then she does this again. How many times does she have to be the one to kiss him? He's like, okay, bye. So then he's downstairs on his little sofa and he's hoping that she'll come down and make the first move. And again, I appreciate this one time where he was like, I don't want to like pressure her. But it's this guy, wondering if I could have a word with you. I don't interfere or anything. But she's just split up from her boyfriend, right? She's in your house and you get on very well. Isn't this perhaps a nice opportunity to slip her one? Just crawl in her bed and with a boner and see what she does. He's like, Spike, for God's sake, she's in trouble. So again, I actually do appreciate this. I appreciate this response here. He's like, God, no, get a grab. He goes, right. You think it's the wrong moment. Fair enough. You mind if I have a go? This is why women don't want to be around y'all. You know what? Maybe that's another video. Do you have any idea how many times I have stayed with a male friend and his roommate tried to do something to me? And I was not drunk either. I haven't drank since 2004. I'm not an alcoholic, but I used to, drink a lot, and I also have narcolepsy and all kinds of stuff. So I didn't like the way that drinking made me feel way too vulnerable, right? And then some other reasons, but I wanted to see if I could have fun and not drink and do like any wrongs or anything like that. And I learned how to do that. But even when I'm totally sober, do you know how many roommates or men that were friends of mine that I stayed with because, I worked in the outdoor industry, shared tents with them, like lived in crazy situations, very close proximity, thinking there's no way they will cross that. Yep. One moment ruined a friendship, but the roommates of men. So this man was going to sneak into her room and try to hook up with her. Like, I know this is a joke, but he would have done it if you hadn't been like, nah. So, okay, maybe this is the only time Hugh stands up to this perp. Spike! He's like, right, okay. But again, this man is not a little boy. He acts like one. He's a very dangerous man. And then she does come down. Because again, she has to do everything. And they kiss. And they hook up. And then, they have all this nice moment in bed, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, whatever. They have a bunch of dumb conversations in bed. He even quotes how Rita Hayworth or whatever said, they go to bed with Gilda and they wake up with me. Who's Gilda? Her most famous part. Men went to bed with the dream and then didn't like it when they woke up to the reality. Now, honey, I think you could say that about men in general, not just about like when they go to bed with movie stars. Let's have a baby that you parent and almost die giving birth to and do literally all the work for. I don't want that reality. Do you feel that way? You went to bed with a dream and wake up with me, the reality? This person not worthy of you? I'll give him credit. I was like, oh, you better be careful with this one. He nailed this response. You're lovelier this morning than you ever have been. Now, I get it. It's good to see. Oh, Mose is tired. You are tired of this movie review. I get it. But this is literally what they do. This is what they did in The Proposal. This is what they do all the time. Humble the woman. Show this. I mean, again, we like... is whatever y'all think I am, I'm also very sensitive and vulnerable and all those things. Like, we're allowed to be those things. But it still, like, hits on this thing of, like, well, at the end of the day, she just, like, despite all of this success, she's just, like, just a vulnerable little girl who just desperately wants to be picked. Like, and I don't agree that that's how a lot of us have been taught to think. Like, that shouldn't be, like, she's the one who wants to be picked. From this guy. She's just so in love with this man she barely knows. And then she's like, because, he did nail that line. She's like, I'll be right back. Breakfast in bed. Because, again, she's doing everything, I swear to God, it's almost like they were like, this is how men think. They're like, I know, I'll reverse the roles and everything that a man would be doing, I'll have a woman do because that's that makes sense. There is no, you can't just upside down things. Right? Even when a woman has all the money and fame and whatever, she is not going to behave the way a man does. Because society is in here, that conditioning is in here, and society is still going to treat her the same way. Right? So, like, even if you are the breadwinner in your family, you should not be having to do all this stuff. Because here's the thing. Men if you date down, the reason why it doesn't work out well, unless that man is very confident and secure in himself, and adds a lot of value to your life and just adores you, he has been taught he's the prize. Everything is supposed to be about him being better than you. So if you're better than him, he can't do that math. He's like, I don't understand. Why does she like me? I hate me. They don't think I'm valuable. What's wrong with this woman? Maybe I should bring her down to my level. Even when they know that you are better in every way possible. Patriarchy has been telling them since the day they were born that they are just born better than you. And unless they've been working on that, they can't handle you being more successful without A, either becoming just a complete parasite in every way possible, and or B, or a combination of the two, constantly humbling you and bringing you down and standing in the way of you being even better and more successful because it makes them feel bad and they can't handle their jealousy. Sure, movie star is going to bring him breakfast in bed because what? He's just so nice to her. He didn't say that he was bummed to wake up with this reality. I'll get the jam, you get the door, because it was like bing bong. The press found them. And then she's in the kitchen and she's like, what's happening? Nothing really. Okay, you and your passiveness and you avoiding hard conversations, just tell her. But no, he didn't tell her. He let her walk right out there in his shirt, which is always the classic I forked this man thing in movies. I've never done this. I've never worn a man's button-down shirt. But apparently in the movies, that is a sign that you are with a man. And she's like, you're up to something. Again, he could have stopped her. He did not. What kind of protector is this? He just saw what's behind that door and he just lets her go and open it. He goes, Anna, no, please. And then take photo. She's horrified. They got a picture of you dressed like that. Basically, she's dressed like that. He's in his box. Like, yeah, I mean, like undressed like that. He just thinks this is all jokes. And then at this time, this dude comes down. The little villain in the story. She's calling and being like, I need help from, people who actually are going to protect her, not this buffoon. Look at him congratulating. He's like, yeah, we won. Again, the only reason why she went to this dude's house is because he's like her only friend in this town. And, they had a history and apparently she'd just been thinking about him so much because, her boyfriend back home sucks. And I think they broke up, I forget. But the press doesn't know that. And she goes upstairs and he tells the roommate, goes, I wouldn't go outside. Why not? Like you don't know, bro. Just take my word for it. Hugh, can you just be more direct, please? You already let one person get her photographed. The one person who should not be photographed wearing your shirt. And then you're just like, just take my word for it. Stand up to this dude. So, of course, he goes out there and does this. Great. Now the press thinks she's forking both these dudes, including this loser. And then he's like, well, yeah. And then he goes and does all this in the mirror. He's like pulling on his junk and he's like, well, yeah, I think chicks love my gravy, blah, blah, blah. I can't even show you this because you're seeing his butt and I don't want to get demonetized in this video. But he's literally like doing a victory dance like, I'm so hot. Like the audacity of this loser is like, he's like, how you doing? How do you think I'm doing? I don't know what happened. Oh, I do. Your furry friend thought he'd make a buck or two telling the papers where I was. See, she knows what happened. He's just like, no. He's like, really? Okay. So the entire British press got up this morning and thought, I know where Anna Scott is. She's in that house with the blue door in Notting Hill. Like, she's not dumb. There's no way they knew that she was there if someone in the house didn't tell them. And you go out there in your underwear. And then he comes in. I don't want to show him because I don't want to get demonetized. I went out there in my underwear too. Get out. The only time he stands up to him is when it's just like, it's the worst. So she's rightfully pissed. I come to you to protect myself against more crappy gossip. Let's just call it what it is. Revenge porn. And now I've just landed it all over again. And for God's sake, I've got a boyfriend. Again, this is like, like it's celebrity. You know how many fake marriages and fake relationships are in Hollywood? Publicists will be like, let's put these two together because we need him to look, like whatever. He's like, wait, you have a okay, so now he's the victim, poor victim. Wait, you have a boyfriend? Well, as far as they're concerned, I do. Again, this is a woman who's very private. She wants her privacy desperately. And so she doesn't whatever. And now tomorrow there will be pictures of you in every newspaper. I know that, but let's stay calm. Just calm down, you dramatic, silly girl. No, you stay calm. This is a perfect situation for you, isn't it? Minimum input, maximum publicity. I mean, she's not wrong. Everywhere you go, people will say, well done, you slept with that actress. We saw the picture. Like, what? That's spectacularly unfair. Who knows? Maybe it'll even help your business. Buy a boring book about Egypt from the guy that screwed Anna Scott. Now stop it. I beg of you. Calm down. Have a cup of tea. He's like, no, I don't want your stupid tea. She's like, Spike owes you an expensive dinner or a holiday. I think if he's got the brains to get the going rate on betrayal. Like, she clocked all this. She knew exactly what happened. He's like, what? Calm down. Calm down. You're being crazy. That's not true. Wait a minute. This is crazy behavior. Don't ever do this to women. We just laugh about it all. Because, you know, I mean, this is so condescending and gaslighting. Like, I cannot stand this man because of this scene. And whatever, it's not like, I mean, whatever. This is just like what a man would do. But my point is, after all of this, she's the one who they frame it as screwed him over. That's what pisses me off about, because what he does here, what his roommate does, and then the enabling of his roommate, and then him gaslighting her, they make it seem as if she's the one who messed up. This doesn't really matter. I mean, and even this dude goes, well, yeah, he's going to say next, there's starving people in Sudan. Well, there are. I mean, we don't have to go anywhere near that. But he goes into this whole thing about how, you know, yeah, okay, there's people starving in Sudan, but, you know, my friend slipped. You know, the one in the wheelchair. Yeah, she slipped down the stairs, cracked her back. And she's in a wheelchair for the rest of her life. All I'm asking for, you crazy dramatic actress, is a, you know, normal amount of perspective. At least you're not in a wheelchair. Okay? This is so insulting, this whole little speech. And she goes, I love this. She's like, you know, you're right. Of course you're right. It's just what I've dealt with for 10 years. This garbage. You've had it for 10 minutes, right? 10 years of experience, lived experience versus 10, and being a woman under patriarchy with revenge porn. 10 minutes, you've experienced fame. It's like, yeah, but you know, today's newspaper will be, you know, lining of tomorrow's waistband. Like, bro, just shut up. Stop talking. Excuse me? Well, you know, just one day. Today's paper will all be thrown out. Like, forget about it. You're overreacting, you stupid, silly woman. You really don't get it. This story will be filed. And every time anyone writes about anything about me, they'll dig up these photos. Newspapers last forever, and so does the internet. Although right now, you should really be downloading everything because they're like doing digital like book burning. Anyway, you'll regret this forever. Or I'll regret this forever. Oh, I feel the opposite, if that's okay by you. And I'll always be glad that you came to stay. Like, her career could be completely over. In addition to the violation of the roommate, him, and the media. And he's just like, I mean, at least you're not in a wheelchair. And even though I know that nothing about the industry, you're definitely overreacting. But I'm sorry you're going to regret this. I don't. I am morally superior. And then, of course, he admits, yeah, I did tell some people. And time goes by and his sister comes and she's like, hey, she's in town again. You should go talk to her. And he's like, yeah, you should. And by the way, they have a dinner. And she, out of nowhere, she's like, I've decided to get engaged. Now, this is even more unhinged than Hugh's storyline. I found myself a nice, slightly odd-looking bloke who I know is going to make me happy for the rest of my life. And he's like, wait a second. Hugh's like, I'm your brother and I don't know anything about this. First of all, well, maybe because you don't ask about her, like, whatever, not surprised. Anyway, so I don't know, is he financially viable? So, you know, men understand how important finances is when it comes to protecting their little baby sis. He's an artist with, you know, brilliant prospect. Okay, artist, singer, musician, rock climber, what else? Crypto, any of these entrepreneurs, they're just little hobosexuals, okay? This is the secret you've been keeping from me? Yep, she's been keeping the secret, but this part is so unhinged. By the way, it's you. So what do you think? She basically proposes to him. They're not even, what? He's like, well, yeah, of course I would marry. Of course I would love a woman who takes care of me so that I can continue to be this ridiculous human. Groovy. He's just like, oh my God. So not only does Hugh end up with the biggest movie star, his awful roommate ends up with his sister. This is a tragedy. It's not good news. like, bleh. Anyway, so he ends up going to set to try to, and it's so funny. This scene starts. Anthony goes, this reminds me of your videos about public proposal. Like, why did he go to her work site and ruin her day and do this in front of everybody? And then also, later on, when you're going to see in a sec, this man, like, everything is just, whatever. He's like, hey! She's like, oh my God, what are you doing here at my work? Oh, I didn't know you were here till yesterday. Blah, 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 blah. And she's like, okay, I guess we can talk after work. I mean, being an actor and having millions of dollars writing and all these like hundreds of crew and actors writing on you pulling off saying your lines and being in an emotionally good state, bro, you should not be showing up to set right before she has to act. Like, there's a reason why they have a trailer and they stay in the trailer. They have to really get into their role and stuff. He's just like, hey, I thought we could like get back together right before you have to go run your lines with millions hinging on it. So somehow he gets on set and they give him a director's check. He's in Video Village. I know, I used to work on film, props, set dressing, all kinds of stuff. I've sat in these chairs, helping the script supervisor, all this stuff. He is in one of the most prized chairs with even headset. Well, oopsie, she's got a hot mic, so he can hear everything she's saying. So when her co-star is like, so what's the deal with that dude back there? Like, oh, he's no one. He's like, what? He's just some guy from the past. Bit of an awkward situation, really. She's at work trying to keep her life private from another actor asking stuff that's none of his business. I don't really know what he's doing here. And Hugh's like, what? Of course, selfish little bird. Then he takes him off and he goes. Like, the dude cannot put himself in her shoes ever. Like, thanks, you can have your headphones, I'm leaving. So then she comes to his shop and basically begs him to take her back. I'm leaving him on. I brought that. She brings a painting across the ocean for this man. Like an original, whatever it is, artist. Like, I don't know what that's for, but thanks. I actually had it in my apartment because I've been thinking about you. Little hobo on the other side of the pond. I don't know how to call you because I behaved so bad. How did you behave badly? How was that behaving badly? He literally gaslit you and his roommate and him betrayed you. And he handled it so bad. How did you behave badly? Maybe the first time because the whole boyfriend situation and you not telling him about it. Okay. But the second time? No. That was his fault. Even if it was his roommate, he did it. He gaslit the hell out of you. I didn't understand. She goes, looks how I behaved badly twice. So, this has just been sitting in the house. And then you came and I figured, what is the thing? But I have to go away today, but I wondered if I didn't, whether you might let me see you a little. Y'all, will you please let me see you? Can I have a little breadcrumb? I don't want the loaf. I definitely don't deserve that. Can I hang out with you a little or a lot? Maybe. See if you can, could you like me again? Can you pick me again? Will you love me? Please, please love me. Yeah, but yesterday when that actor asked you who I was, you just dismissed me. I heard it. You had a microphone on. I had headphones. As if she doesn't know how that works. You expect me to tell him the truth about my life to the most indiscreet man in England? Like, what are you doing? Like, you have to explain this to this man. And this guy, his mother called. Tell her I'll call her back. No. I mean, she's gonna keep calling. He goes back to take his mom's call. And then this guy insults her and being like, I loved Ghost. She's like, I wasn't in Ghost. She just like, gets treated like crap by everybody. Of course, he comes out and he looks back. He's like, yeah, sorry about that. That's fine. There's always a pause when the jury goes out to consider the verdict. Why are you putting everything in this man's hands? This passive man who has done nothing. In storytelling, nobody wants to get behind a passive hero. And this is the most passive hero. That's why I don't understand. Like, ugh. Like, look, Mitch, I'm a level-headed bro. Often in and out of love. But can I just say no to your kind request and leave it at that? I'm just going to reject you flat out. You cool with that? She's like, oh my God. Yeah, that's okay. Fine, I guess. Just be going. Bye. I mean, the thing is, with you, I'm in real danger. It seems like a perfect situation except for your foul temper. This is her face when he says that. She's like, oh, nice backhanded compliment, Hugh. My relatively inexperienced heart. It's also an experienced, empathetic person who can't put yourself in someone else's position. Look at that face. A relatively inexperienced heart. Well, I fear not recover. If I was once again to be cast aside as I would absolutely expect to be. Like, if you could just be a big old bitch and reject me and, you know, keep abusing me the way you just, like, keep harming me. My fragile heart can't handle that. I keep going back between British and Southern accent. I don't know why. There's just too many pictures of you in film. Like, I'd see your stupid face everywhere and I'd never, like, be able to just forget you exist. You know, I'd be well buggered. Okay, that's a real big no. I live in Notting Hill. You live in Beverly Hills. Everyone in the world knows who you are. My mom doesn't even know my name. That sounds like a you problem, bro. Like, this is really what it's about. He's this insecure man. He's like, I just can't handle somebody who is just, everyone knows, and I'm just like this, like, nobody. He's like, okay, fine. Good decision. Yeah. You know, the fame thing isn't real, right? And don't forget, I'm also just a girl standing in front of a boy, asking him to love her. Please love me. Please love me. I'm desperate. Look at this. Please. Please love me. This millionaire, beautiful, successful woman is doing this. It's like, what's wrong with you? Why do you like me this much? She gives him a kiss, and he lets her just walk out the door. Again, passive man. And then he's like, what do you think? Did I make a mistake? Tells him what all was said. And they're like, bro, bad choice. He basically realizes he needs to go after this girl. They all get in a car and almost, you know, cause like traffic accidents. He goes to her press conference. Again, this is like a public proposal, all about his ego. He could have literally waited till after this press conference and spoken to her in private. But no! I mean, I know that's not good for movie making, but like also this is just such a man thing to do. But then he invades this press conference and is like, I got a question. Oh, Moses back. Scott, are there any circumstances in which the two of you, like they had just been asking about the dude she'd been taking a photo with, might be more than just good friends? I hope that there would have been, but no, I'm assured there aren't. Like, bro, you just broke up with me yesterday when I came begging in the bookshop. But what if, what would you say if, I was just wondering if it turned out that this person, everybody's like, all the journalists, nobody recognizes him. They're like, Thacker, his name's Thacker. Right. I was just wondering with Mr. Thacker realized that he'd been a daft prick. The crowd exclaimed. She's like, got down on his knee and begged you to reconsider. Whether you would, in fact, reconsider. Yeah, I would. That's very good news. And they go, so how long will you be staying here? Indefinitely. I'm moving here. I'm the Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast at the same time, except both of those men are broke. And then all of a sudden, everyone's like, hey, this guy looks familiar. That's the man. Oh, and now they start taking pictures of him. She's like, oh my God, I got picked. Somebody loves me. And then we see everybody, you know, cheering, including this couple with this terrible man who's now with Hugh's sister. Cut to their wedding. I don't know if these are her kids. I hope to God these are not her children with Puck. But, you know, they're just so in love. He's literally sweeping her off her feet. Did nothing to earn that love. She just decided one day they're going to get engaged. And he was like, okay. Now he gets to ride in limousines and wear tuxedos with her and go to red carpet events. I mean, he's a little nervous. He's new to the fame thing. They go back to the stupid bench and she's pregnant and he's reading a book. Wow, what a great love story. Hobosexual loser ends up with women way out of his league. That is why we have, one of the reasons why we have the lonely male crisis, because all of them think they're Hugh and they deserve Julia and that she should beg Hugh to be with her. That mindset is why we're stuck. Until they stop thinking that they're this guy and deserve this person, we're not going to get anywhere. So withdraw your money, withdraw all your labor, withdraw your love, time, and attention, your likes, your watch hours, everything you can from men who feel entitled to you for doing literally nothing other than existing, and you having to beg men to give you a little breadcrumb. This is how we got here. This was our indoctrination. They got plenty of their own. This indoctrinated us to normalizing this. No thanks. Let me know if you like this, and if I have time, I'll do a comment song. Either way, follow my Patreon. Thanks for being here. Et voila! Right, Mouse? You'd think he'd had the miserable life, y'all. Et voila! Welcome to the comment song. Tata Melanie edition. Yeah, that's my niece, and she's a little clown, and always wears that bucket on her head. Hey, and I am Tata. en français. And they gave me this sweatshirt that has a battery in it to keep my belly back warm, because they know Tata is always freezing everywhere I go. I don't know why. Maybe I have iron deficiency. Anyway, this is champagne for children to get them used to it young. Anyway, this is the only thing I remember to take photos of for some reason other than the dessert, and this is pumpkin soup. Anyway, this is just part of the desserts that they got me. It's a bunch of different little cakes, and one of them you squeeze rum into. Anyway, it was good, and this is my niece and nephew. And we had a good time at lunch, even though I didn't understand everything. Okay, there's the one on the right with the alcohol you squeeze into it. Anyway, I should have taken a photo before we just started eating whatever. Anyway, one last photo. This is on our way to town. French people were like, "Fork you. You can't record us and give us a ticket." Seriously, this is a camera. Then they take a photo of you if you're speeding. But the farmers were like, "Fork off," and did this to the camera so it doesn't function. I love France, man. They don't care. Anyway, this is my comment song, and it's ending now because I gotta go. Anyway, if you like this, let me know that you heard the birthday Tata song. Comment song.